Hi everyone, my name is Bijou Williams and welcome to my presentation. So before I begin, I wanted to give you all a brief overview about Roots with Wings and my presentation. So I'm going to be sharing some background about Roots with Wings, and then I'll talk about my experience and what I've learned. So first, I wanted to say thank you to the Department of Sociology Center for Social and Cultural Research and the Citizen Leader Program for funding my internship. I also wanted to thank my mentor, Melinda Wagner, and the rest of my group for being so helpful and thoughtful throughout the semester. So about Roots with Wings. Roots with Wings is a Floyd County, Virginia place-based education oral history project. And we also work with the Floyd Story Center at the Old Church Gallery in partnership with Floyd County Public Schools and Radford University. In order to preserve the history of Floyd, my group conducts interviews with Floyd County residents to ensure that the history of the county will flourish years from now. So our purpose is to develop team building skills, forge connections, and conserve culture. Oral history programs are organized by the Floyd Story Center, and this includes large-scale archives of photos, music, artifacts, interviews, and stories from people throughout Floyd County. The Old Church Gallery's motto is "We remember, we collect, we protect." And this expresses our mission in order to remember, collect, protect all of the oral, physical, and written history of Floyd County. Our interview process is really important because this is one way individuals can read about, their family history or their friends' family history in Floyd. So people are really able to see sides of their community that they might not already be aware of. So now I'm going to be talking to you guys about my experience. So our group was Jason Burgard, Mary Dickerson, and Katie Thompson, who are all Floyd County Public School teachers. Our group also included Alice Slusher, Melinda Wagner, Catherine Polly, and myself. And every Thursday, we would meet up at either Floyd County High School or the Old Church Gallery. And as I mentioned earlier, interview process is really crucial to Roots with Wings because this is one way the history is, maintained and documented. So during our Thursday meetings, Melinda Wagner taught us different interview techniques, whether it was from how to properly conduct an interview or how to properly use interview equipment. So Roots with Wings really tries to tell stories through artifacts, oral history, and interviews. And this is why the Old Church Gallery is so important to us. So if I had to pick my favorite aspect of my internship, I would definitely say it would be transcribing interviews. So I'm from Ashburn in Northern Virginia, and just hearing about the different childhood and life experiences of those who are Floyd County residents was so fascinating to me. And I also loved visiting the Old Church Gallery. Their current exhibit has feed stacks, beautiful quilts, and hand-woven baskets, and a lot more. So for me personally, going to physically see the artifacts on display from Floyd County was such a heartwarming experience for me. So my responsibilities. So like I mentioned, I had to transcribe interviews as a requirement for my internship, and I really enjoyed this aspect of my job. I also had to take photos each week that showed the big picture of the activity that week, and also I had to take some close-up photos. These photos ended up coming in real handy because I was also the communications director. So I made blog entries every single week that were sent to about 400 people. This was a really important way for, Floyd County residents to stay connected with their community. And the pictures were really useful for the blog posts because residents could not only read what we did that week, but the reader could also see what we did as well. So like I mentioned earlier, I grew up in a really urban city in Loudoun County, Virginia, and learning about Floyd County and its residents and the history has taught me a lot. It opened my eyes up to an entire county of people with a really rich history that I didn't know about before. It also taught me that differences don't matter. I obviously knew this before, but it made me really think and process that every small county and city has a story, and each of them has a really rich history, just like the one yours may have. It also made me think about different sociological perspectives I've learned in my sociology classes. So an emic perspective is an approach of studying a culture from the perspective of an insider. And an edic approach is studying a culture from an outsider's point of view. So even though I was not actually from Floyd County, I did try to view their culture in an emic perspective while also having an edic perspective. So I could also have thoughts of my own. Because I grew up in a different way than those who are from Floyd, I knew having both an edic and emic perspective would be really useful to understand Floyd's culture and history in a systematic way. I also had to keep cultural relativism in mind so that everyone's beliefs and thoughts should be understood and accepted by others as their own beliefs and considerations. So this leads me to the end of my presentation. I hope I was able to give you all some insight about Roots with Wings and why we do what we do. So I'll be sure to leave the link to the Old Church Gallery's website in the description so you all can check it out. Thank you for listening.